Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we go to Iowa in the Xfinity Series and our first road course race of the season in the Cup Series at Sonoma Raceway, obviously on the old configuration now. But in the Xfinity Series we had Noah Gragson back in the car here for Iowa, and unfortunately for us and for him it was not a very good race. He started down in about P18 and really struggled to move forwards, really wouldn't move forwards throughout this race. As he came out of turn 2, hitting down the back straightaway in P18, he would continue to fall down the order here as he came to the midway point, going in the middle of a 3 wide there as he went into turn 3, getting clear though, but he, like I said, he would continue falling down the order. He got into the wall there and dropped down all the way to P27 as we now came to the final lap as he went through turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here in Iowa. Gragson would come out of turn 4 to come through to finish in a very disappointing 27th place. So not good for Gragson at all, but now it was time to set that aside and set our sights on the Cup Series race for the first time at a road course, like I said, this season at Sonoma, a track that we've won at in the past with a last lap pass on Kurt Busch. And as we came into qualifying, heading down into the final corner, the final hairpin on the track, going wide a little bit there as we come out of the corner, heading down the straightaway, trying to get the best lap possible. Obviously, it was a pretty solid lap. It wasn't great, but it was good enough to get a top 10. As we come across the line, we will start P9 with a 1:11.635, so let's get ready to go green here in Sonoma. Hopefully we can move forwards and contend for a victory.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series hits the road today, literally, for the running of the Toyota Save Mart 350. Sonoma Raceway is the first of 3 road course events on this year's schedule. This twisting 12-turn, 1.99-mile drive through the heart of wine country is a true test of racing skill. There's over 160 feet of elevation change here, something that isn't obvious when watching on TV. Now, some turns are completely blind, like turns 3 and 3A, and you're almost always on the wheel here, which requires a different mindset after all the oval races. The pace car is coming down pit road. We're ready to go racing on PRN.
Alright, we're ready to go green here for the Toyota Save Mart 350. We got Alex Bowman looking really fast today, so we might have to watch over him to be a contender. He is pretty much in a must-win situation already if he wants to make it to the playoffs this season, so he needs to contend here today in Sonoma as we get ready to go green. Jamie McMurray on the pole as the green flag is out, and we are underway for the first of 3 road course races this season as we head down up through the left-hand bend into towards turns 1 and turns 2. Blaney currently on my right-hand side. It's McMurray and Eric Jones on the front row. Obviously, we still owe payback on Eric Jones, and I was looking at today as a good opportunity to maybe get payback now as we go up through the hill section, heading in towards the end of the first sector, sorry. Now, as Blaney still on my right side, but we get clear of him, and now we're going to try and force the 3 wide on Hamlin, but we back out of it, making sure I don't make that move as Blaney gets into my back bumper there, as there's a bit of a checkup from Hamlin as we make contact with Eric Almirola as well. Now, as we're going to send it in the inside there, up the inside, I should say, of Denny Hamlin, and take over P7, and now set our sights on the 17 car of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. looking not very fast here as we come through the S's almost to his right hand side. Now we do look up the right hand side of Stenhouse as we head down the hill towards the left bend. He's going to get clear though as we head down to the penultimate corner. Hamlin lurking just behind as Stenhouse is able to pull away just a little bit, but now we reel him in going down towards the last hairpin, and we look to his right hand side again as we come towards the end of this first lap, and we go from 9th to 6th. They're getting very sideways there through the center of the corner, and we would hold on though to take P6 from Stenhouse and set our sights on Boyer up ahead now as he came through towards the end of lap 2 now. Still running P6 a little bit closer to Boyer as we come through the right bend. But certainly some ground to make up at this point as we head down towards the last corner on the second lap. Now there's trouble up ahead, and it's 18 of Kyle Busch who goes spinning in the final corner, and he keeps it straight, and the caution though would come out, and that would end stage 1 very early. Obviously stage 1 and 2 are very short here, only 4 or 5 laps, so the stage ends early. McMurray gets the playoff point. We would get ready now to start stage 2, staying out as the green flag is back out, and we are underway here behind Kyle Busch, the guy who just brought out the caution. It is the 6th lap stage 2 now, so an extra lap or two gets added due to stage 1 getting ended early as we look to the right-hand side just about a Boyer, but I slow up a little bit earlier there, but we do rally back to get to his right-hand side now as we come up the hill. Hamlin and Steno side by side behind as we try to clear Clint Boyer now as we come up the hill, heading up to the right-hander, coming towards the end of the first sector. Clear of Boyer now. Busch and Elliott, our teammate, just in front of us side by side as we come into the right-hander, though. They're getting into it now as we give Busch a bit of a bump to the bumper there as we look to his right-hand side heading into the right-hander. Elliott, he decides to back out of the situation, and now it's myself and former teammate Kyle Busch battling side by side as we come through down into the S's, not giving up the position. Busch, he's going to continue the fight, and I'm going to continue it too as his contact mate, he gets a little bit sideways as he hangs onto the car, though. Obviously, we've had a bit of a few run-ins with Kyle Busch lately, especially at Dover now as we come through. He is going to finally get clear of me as we come through the S's there, as I couldn't quite maintain the speed I needed to stay alongside him through the S's now as we head down into the final hairpin. Hamlin looking to my right-hand side now and hits me in the right rear, but loosens me up, but thankfully we hang on to the car and stay clear and hold on to P4 for the moment. We then would be able to pull away from Hamlin and the cars behind as we came through now to lap 3, approaching the halfway point of this second stage. Kyle Busch had run down a teammate Eric Jones as he makes contact with his back bumper. McMurray, he was running away with the lead in the stage victory at this point as we head down and coming through to cross the line to hit 3 to go. We just continued to close in on Kyle Busch and Eric Jones throughout the rest of the stage. Only 3 laps to go at this point now as we came to 2 to go, closing in right up on the back of Kyle Busch as we come up the hill there. A chance to maybe make a move to his right-hand side. We have the momentum now, and we decide to full-on attack and take over the position if possible, but he is able to stay ahead as we exit the corner, still on his right side, though, as we head down into the next right-hander, trying to take over that position. We had a good scrap with him at the beginning of the stage, but we take over P3 from Kyle Busch, approaching the final lap now, and as we did come to the final lap, we had gotten to the back of Eric Jones now coming up the hill. And at this point, there was a good gap between myself and Kyle Busch behind, so I figured, you know what, if we're going to get revenge on Eric Jones, now is the time to do it now as we're within half a car length on this final lap. In stage 2, looking to his right-hand side, as we head down into the corner, we're going to hit him in the rear and spin him out now on the final lap in stage 2. With the caution would fly and end the stage half a lap early, but we would get our revenge on Eric Jones. Dropped to P3, though. In the process, we would come to pit road at the end of the stage to come to get a can of fuel as well. We would take no tires this time around because that's usually the right call here at Sonoma. We would also skip the 1 second repair and move back into second in front of Kyle Busch. So finally, we got revenge on Eric Jones for what he did in Pocono. It certainly felt good to take him out after what happened there. Now as we get ready to start this third and final stage, as the green flag is out on the outside of Jamie McMurray, who has had a dominating performance. 15 to go here in the final stage, so certainly a very lengthy final stage here in Sonoma as I make a mistake going up the hill, and now we push wide there. Busch right behind me as we come out of the corner, getting very sideways now into the right-hand side of Jones, making even more contact with the 20 car like we did a few moments ago. So we dropped down to P4, getting so sideways as they came out of the corner, putting the bumper to Jones now as we come down the straightaway, heading down into the right-hander. Busch just about clear of Jones now as we try to set them up for a potential 3-wide pass there, as we do indeed make a 3-wide as we head down the straightaway into the right-hander. Now Busch backs out of the 3-wide, and we do come through to clear Eric Jones to retake the second position here in the final stage now. But at this point, Jamie McMurray has driven away from us there as you see him way up ahead, multiple seconds ahead. Certainly not what we need to have happen now as we come through the left-hand bend. So not the opening lap that we were hoping for here in the final stage, and now it's going to be tough to run down Jamie McMurray. We're pretty much going to have to be perfect if we want to be able to run McMurray down and have a chance to win here in Sonoma, unless maybe, you never know, we might have lap traffic play a factor. It did somewhat last season. Hopefully we could have some help from lap traffic here in today's episode. Now as we run P2, this is the best I've run in a while at Sonoma. Now as we came to lap 17, we had driven away from Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, and just set our sights on the 40 car of Jamie McMurray. Just over 3 seconds, I think it said there, behind McMurray, but we were slowly starting to reel him in as I was finding something now. As we came to 10 laps to go, 3.6 behind him at this point as we head up the hill. Just really struggling, though, to be able to run him down. I pretty much, like I said, had to run a perfect lap to gain on him. If I wasn't hitting it perfect, we were starting to fall behind now as we come through up the left-hander into the right-hander at the top of the hill now. So certainly not looking like we might just might not be able to catch McMurray here, as it's 3.4 seconds at this point. But like I said, we were starting to find something here for a couple laps. Now, as we head down into the right hand, it's just 10 laps to go here in Sonoma. Certainly a good amount of time to make up 3.5 seconds if I can figure something out. But it just didn't seem like we had the pace in the car at this point to be able to run down McMurray in the 40 car. But like I said, we did start gaining a little bit on McMurray as we came towards now lap 20, approaching lap 21, down to 3 seconds, now up to 3.1, coming through the hairpin. I usually was losing a good chunk of time to McMurray, but at times I was really gaining a lot of time through the S's and through the first sector of the course. Now as we came to lap 21, under 3 seconds now between myself and Jamie McMurray. Like I said, closing in on him, but then the tires kind of started to wear, and that was really becoming a factor the further we went into this run. As now you see we came to lap 24, just 5 laps to go at this point, just on an island of my own at this point. Now no cautions being thrown yet, but the gap was almost up to 4 seconds, so starting to fall off the pace, knowing at this point I'm going to need some help if we want to have a chance to win here in Sonoma now. And we would kind of get the help as we came through now with 4 laps to go, approaching 3 to go, 3.5 seconds between myself and McMurray. But now you see up ahead, he is running down lap traffic. There's a lot of oversteer on the exit of the hairpin, just about driving into the wall, but the lap traffic was starting to play a factor, and it was allowing myself to close in on Jamie McMurray now as we come to the about halfway point of lap 26. Still 3 to go, 3.5 seconds still between myself and McMurray, but you see now we're definitely starting to close the gap on the 40 car of McMurray, now down to 3 seconds, and even under 3 seconds now as we came into the hairpin, approaching 2 to go, even closer to McMurray as he's starting to struggle to get through this lap traffic. Now just 1.5 seconds or so between myself and the leader of McMurray as we cross the line. And as we came to just now a lap and a half to go, passing Reed Sorensen and closing right up on the back of Jamie McMurray. And behind us, Kyle Busch and Bowman were starting to run us down as we head down into the right-hander. Just a few car lengths now at this point between myself and the leader of Jamie McMurray as he's just struggling so hard to get through this lap traffic there. Corey LaJoie just in front of him. McMurray trying to find a way past these cars because he knows I am here and I am ready to attack and have a chance to win in Sonoma. Now we've got a pretty good track record when it comes to the road courses here in NASCAR 83 now as we come through the right bend, heading down into the final hairpin, approaching the final line. We look to the left-hand side now of Jamie McMurray trying to take the lead, coming to the white flag where we get a little bit of oversteer, and that allows McMurray to stay clear for the moment now as we exit the hairpin, heading down the straightaway in through the left-hander, closing right up on the back of McMurray now as we cross the line. The white flag is in the air here in Sonoma, right on the back of McMurray as we head up the hill for the final time now. McMurray still just stuck behind LaJoie. You see behind us Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, the 18 and the 88 car closing in quickly, but do they have enough time to get here? Likely not now as we head down up towards the left-hander, coming through the top of the hill now, still right on the back of McMurray, trying to look to his left-hand side, but a little bit of oversteer once again, allowing McMurray to stay clear for the moment now as we head into the right-hander. And we get a great exit now. Half a lap remains here in Sonoma. We get into the back of the 40 of McMurray there, but he hangs onto the cars to head down through the right-hander. He is still clear, but we look to his left-hand side now as we head down towards the S's for the final time, side by side for the lead with Jamie McMurray now through the left-hander down towards the right-hander Busch. Bowman closing quickly, but they're not close enough. It's down to myself and McMurray. We go wide. Into the dirt we go now as we head through the left bend in towards the penultimate corner. McMurray in command. It's going to have to be a lick the stamp and send it moment if we want a chance to win here in Sonoma, and we're going to try it as we head down into the final hairpin. Looking up the right-hand side of McMurray now, we make contact as we come through the final hairpin, side by side now as we exit the final corner, still side by side as we head down the front straightaway. McMurray at my door as we come through to cross the line. We're going to edge out McMurray for the victory here in Sonoma. Win number 2 on the season in much more spectacular fashion than our Martinsville win. Obviously a thrilling finish there for Sonoma. We get revenge on Eric Jones and we have a great finish and come out on top in the process. So it was certainly awesome now winning at Sonoma. Again, we won here, I believe, in the 41 car over Kurt Busch. back a few seasons ago, and now we take the 24 car back to victory lane, certainly putting that 24 car back up top here in the Monster Energy Cup Series, so certainly a nice sight to see as we blow the engine doing the burnout. So a great race in the first two stages. The first kind of 3/4 of the final stage were pretty lackluster, but we certainly made up for that with the final couple of laps. There's Jimmy Johnson, our teammate, down in 24th. An awful effort for Johnson there, as that's certainly not what he needs. Jones actually DNF'd and finished down in 40th, so we get revenge on him, and then his race got even worse now as we sit about 25 points or so behind Kevin Harvick after Sonoma as he continues to hold on to the points lead. But certainly a great finish here in Sonoma. It was certainly a lot of fun to be a part of. I sent it down into the final corner. I knew if I could get to his right-hand side, I could make something happen, and thankfully I was able to get my nose to McMurray's right-hand side. I didn't want to wreck him, so I made sure I kept it as clean as possible. Obviously, we made contact, but that was it. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. In the next one, we go to a track that we've struggled at in the past. That's Chicagoland. Usually, we just suck at Chicago when it comes to speed, but I did kind of learn something the last time around that if we just run right in the draft, that's going to give us our best shot because we just have so little speed when it comes to Chicago. So we're going to give it everything we've got. I might make a few setup changes maybe to see if I can get more speed. Usually I have to run a full setup at Chicago just to be somewhat competitive, unfortunately. So we'll see what we can do when it comes to Chicagoland there in the Xfinity Series and in the Cup Series. I myself might be running the Xfinity race as well. For I think we've won or have done one Xfinity race this season. So now we might make it two. But there's the point standings on your screen. Cody Ware still inside the playoffs, actually, just barely. He is currently 30th in the points. So yeah, he's very close to being taken out of the playoffs, which would put Jimmy Johnson in. So that'll do it for this one. Thank you for watching, everybody, like I said earlier, and I will see you guys in the next one for Chicagoland. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a great day, everybody.